If you're a parent watching this, there's a good chance you've said something like this before. My athlete works hard. They train all the time. They're committed. They want it. And yet, they're not getting faster. They're not separating. They're not standing out the way that you expect. The gap between effort and results is frustrating, especially when your athlete is doing everything right. Here's the truth that surprises most parents. Hard work is rarely the problem. In fact, most athletes today are working harder than ever. The real issue is that effort is being applied without direction. And when effort doesn't have direction, it doesn't lead to development. It leads to fatigue, confusion, and eventually frustration. Let's start with why this problem exists in the first place. Most sports environments reward visible effort. Sweat looks productive. Soreness feels productive. More reps feel productive. So when progress stalls, the natural response is add more sessions, add more drills, add more conditioning, add more volume. The assumption is simple. If we do more, results will show up. But that assumption ignores something very critical. More of the wrong thing doesn't move the needle. It just makes athletes tired. And tired athletes don't get faster. This is where most confusion starts. Training and development are not the same thing. Training is activity. Development is change. Training asks, what did you do today? Development asks, what changed because of it? An athlete can train 5 days a week and still not develop if the work isn't targeted toward their actual limitations. Development requires intention, and intention requires information. Here's something most parents never hear. Effort only works when it's paired with feedback. If an athlete lifts, runs, jumps, or conditions without knowing what they're good at, what's limiting them, what needs to improve next, they're guessing. And guessing creates plateaus. This is why you'll see athletes who train constantly, never miss workouts, are incredibly committed, but don't improve in meaningful ways. They're working hard, just not on the right problem. This is where true development begins. Testing is not about ranking athletes. It's not about ego. It's not about posting numbers. Testing is about clarity. At XPA, we use testing to answer one question. What is currently limiting this athlete's speed and performance? You cannot answer that by guessing. You cannot answer that by watching effort alone. You answer it by measuring key outputs. We focus on our 4 primary indicators because each one tells us something different. 1, our 10-yard split, acceleration capacity. The 10-yard split tells us how quickly an athlete can produce force from a dead stop. Acceleration wins in almost every field and court sport. If an athlete cannot accelerate efficiently, they always will feel a step behind, regardless of effort. If this number doesn't improve, speed won't show up in games. Then there's number 2, pro agility, the 5-10-5, deceleration and redirection. Most people think about agility is about quick feet. It's not. Agility is about how well an athlete can decelerate, how efficiently they can change direction, and how quickly they can re-accelerate. Most agility problems are actually braking problems. If an athlete can't slow down under control, they can't change direction efficiently. Then there's number 3, vertical jump, force production. The vertical jump tells us how much force an athlete can produce. This is raw power. But power alone doesn't guarantee speed. It tells us strength transfer, power potential, output capacity. Then there's number 4, one-step vertical jump. This is elastic utilization. This test tells us how efficiently an athlete uses the force they produce. This is where elasticity lives. Elastic athletes look springy. They move smoothly. They change gears effortlessly. An athlete can be strong but not elastic. That athlete often looks powerful in the weight room but slow on the field. Testing alone isn't the solution. Testing gives us information, but information must be interpreted correctly. 2 athletes can have the same score and need completely different training strategies. This is where coaching logic matters. Development isn't about chasing numbers. It's about understanding what those numbers actually mean. One of the biggest mistakes parents make is expecting everything to improve at once. It's not how development works. In a well-structured system, some qualities improve quickly. Others take time. Some don't show up immediately on the field. Acceleration improvements may show in weeks. Elastic changes may take longer. Game speed may lag behind physical changes. This doesn't mean the program isn't working. It means development is layered. Effort needs to change by season. Off-season allows for higher intensity, greater volume, larger adaptations. In-season requires precision, microdosing, recovery awareness. Without standards, athletes either do too much in season or nothing at all. Both lead to regression. If you want to know whether a program develops athletes or just keeps them busy, ask these questions. How do you measure progress? How often do you retest? What determines what my athlete trains next? What happens if progress stalls? What standards are we working toward? If those answers aren't clear, development isn't happening. An assessment isn't a workout. It's clarity. It tells us where your athlete is now, what's limiting them, what to prioritize next, what not to waste time on. Once clarity exists, effort becomes powerful. Hard work matters, but effort only works when it's applied to the right problem. Development isn't random. It's structured. It's intentional. And it always starts with clarity. If you want clarity on where your athlete stands and what they should be training next, that process starts with an assessment, not guessing.